Go ahead.
Hello, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you see me. We are in studio live now with Paul Garwood and his family. We have also his son Jaden is in the building, his wife Raynette, and I've also brought my son in studio today, Andre. So let's wave to the people. Tonight we're going to talk about mindset development. What constitutes a healthy mindset? What is it that you need to transform and change your mindset? And then you having the bravery to examine your current mindset so that we can move you from effectiveness to greatness. So make sure you tune in. In fact, I'm going to ask you all to ask one of your friends, share this video out, ask one of your friends to join us so that we can go ahead and get this wealth of information out to those who need it. And we're getting ready to start the intro and going live now. And I always introduce Kate. Kate is the engineer here at Podcast Detroit. So if you're looking to start, oh, she's waving. Did you see her hand? She's waving.
Hi.
All right. And if you're looking to start a podcast, contact Podcast Detroit. They have a location in Royal Oak as well as the city of Detroit. And I have had a great experience thus far. So we're looking forward to impacting more lives through this medium here.
All right. On that note, just give me one moment and we'll get your intro up and running.
You've now tuned in to the Drawing Board Podcast, a powerful, thought-provoking discussion where we talk about family, relationships, ministry, community, and career. Let's see what exciting guests we have on our show today.
Hello, this is Andre Ebron, the host of the Drawing Board Podcast. It is a powerful, thought-provoking testimonial that challenges the listener to examine their life and to reimagine the possibilities. Tonight, I have the honor of having one of my good buddies on the show. And actually, Paul, I was just sitting here reflecting about how we met.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm glad to have Paul Garwood on the show. Everybody, let's welcome Paul to the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, and we have his son and his wife here present. Jaden, say hello to the people.
Hi.
All right, good. And Miss Raynette, please say hello to the people.
Hello.
All right, I know that Paul is all that he is because you are there to encourage him.
Praise the Lord.
Oh, I know that. The
Yes,
Bible
yes.
says a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing
thing, yes.
and obtaineth favor because of it. You know, the world has that principle down packed, don't
Yes,
they?
they do.
Because when they get ready to go close out big deals, who do they bring to the
Their
dinner?
wife.
Right.
They bring their wife. When
All
it's
the
time
time.
for some type of major event,
Yes.
who do they bring? They bring their wife.
All the time.
And I can always tell the quality of a man. I see it reflected in the way that he ministers and take care of his family.
Yes.
And the fact that you showed up here tonight to support him, I could tell you, like, baby, I got your back. You're going to go in here and do good. You probably was prophesying to him in the car, telling him, I know you were. You're
the way
like,
here.
Paul, you're going to do well. Don't worry about it, baby. God's going to open this door. He's moving on your behalf.
It's one thing she always tell me,
Uh-huh.
even when I didn't know, she said, I'm always praying for you. And I told her, I need those prayers.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate them. Thank you very much. And my son prays for me, too, in his own way. Thank you.
Amen. Awesome. Yeah. Sons have a special way of praying for their dads. Isn't that right, Jaden?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I have my son in the building as well. Andre, say hello to the people.
What's up?
Okay, what's up? Yeah, sons are special. You know what's interesting, Paul, is when I look at my son, and I'm sure that you can testify to this as well, is that you see an aspect of yourself personified, and you get a chance to see all of those things that you
Yes.
remember growing up, and they think they are doing something new, but you know what they're thinking before they think it.
And they don't believe that. But what I tell parents all the time is when that child is not doing what you want them to do, don't forget how you were when you were young.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Let's not forget that.
Right.
They're doing it for a reason, all right? So when you take it into that context and don't play like you ain't never done nothing wrong in your life, then you can explain to them, hey, I've been there, I did the same thing, these are the consequences that happened, I don't want you to go through the same thing. And I think they understand that better when you approach them that way.
So, Paul, I know you work with children, and as we're talking about our sons, you know what I think is awesome? If we just took a minute, and for those of you that are streaming live on Facebook, or listening to podcastdetroit.com, like take a minute right now. Let's reflect and think about all of the great things about your son or all the great things about your child. And my challenge to you going in from tonight until tomorrow is when you speak to them each day, make a list of 10 things, okay? And every day they wake up, I want you to affirm those 10 things about them. Tell them, I believe that you're great. I believe that you're awesome. I believe that you have a bright future.
Yes.
I believe that anything you put your hands to do, that it's going to prosper.
Yes.
I believe that there's greatness on the inside of you.
Right.
When you go to school today, you're going to have favor with the teachers and people in decision-making places. And when we affirm those positive things, Paul, what do you think happens for that child?
Then they grow. They get used. They want to do positive things. You know, one of the things that I tell everybody, for every one negative thing you say to a child or to a person, you need to follow that with 5 to 6 positive things. When you everybody that knows me knows that I'm about positivity. All right. And when you speak those positive things over your children, then they can't help but start to lead that positive life. That's the mindset. You know, they don't look at themselves, oh, I'm a troublemaker or I'm a bad person. No, they're a good person that makes mistakes.
Absolutely. And if we be honest, there's both good and, if we want to qualify good and bad, there's both positive and negative things operating in all of us.
Right.
But let me talk to them a little bit. Let me tell the people about Paul. All right. This is when, you should hire me to do one of your commercials.
All right. Yeah.
Please so it says, Paul is the vice president of Destination Achievers Michigan region. Destination Achievers, or Achieving Goals Through Outreach Michigan region. Destination Achievers Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides educational outreach programs for the Maryland, D.C., and Michigan communities. With our help, our students will be able to achieve their educational and employment endeavors, resulting in a more sustainable and better quality of life. He is a radio personality and the host of Push Through with Paul Garwood, which can be heard on the Life Coach Radio Network, Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. He is the founder and coach of Team Legacy AAU Basketball Club. He has 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and 6th grade teams. He is an entrepreneur, certified master life coach, certified master trainer, life empowerment expert, life transition expert, and best-selling author. In August 2017, he was inducted to the membership of the National Speakers Association, or better known as NSA. Everybody, let's put our hands together and let's acknowledge, I need you all in studio to help me do this. He is the author, I need a drum roll please, of Finding Your Purpose, an inspirational guide to reignite your life's purpose and to live totally content-free. Content-free, right?
Yes.
Totally content-free.
A totally content life.
Totally content life. All right, awesome. Yeah, well, maybe I need some more help before we get to the commercial spot. All right, but we'll get there, okay?
Oh, no problem at all.
All right, so talk to me, Paul. I saw that you were, your book, Finding Your Purpose.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. How does one discover their purpose?
Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself.
All right.
In regards to finding my purpose. Even when I go and give my speeches, when I go speak to people, I went through my life doing what other people wanted me to do.
Okay.
And it wasn't my purpose. One, I was a correction officer at Jackson Prison.
A CO.
CO.
Okay.
Now, I'm 6'7". I'm over 300 pounds now. I used to be 6'7", 240. Detroit Police Department of Corrections, they see me. Oh, man, you be a good cop. You be a good CO.
Hold on, Paul. Hold on. Before you go into that narrative, I can see your wife over there. I think she threw you a wink over there. When you described yourself, you said, I'm Paul, 6'7".
Right.
I was 240.
Right.
I'm at 300 now, but before that, I was a fine specimen, and my wife still appreciates all of this sitting over here in this chair.
Yes.
I saw you. She looked
you
over
saw
here.
Me? Right.
Yeah, I saw. She looked over here. You sure are, baby. Yes, you are. I saw it. Your son was sitting over like, oh Lord, oh my goodness. I can't believe they are always at it like this. No, go ahead, Paul.
But they told me because of my height, because of my size, and I only thought about making money.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking about finding my purpose, making money. Then from there, I got there, loved it, excellent CO, hated going every single day. When I would get there, I would do my job, but I hated going to that job. I left there. I started working for Northwest Airlines. Good job. This is where I met my wife. Everything worked in divine order. But I hated going every single day. I used to tell everybody, this is not what I was put on earth to do.
Now, hold on, Paul. Before you move forward there, let's take it back. We talk about relationships on this show.
Okay.
So take me. You're at Northwest Airlines. Take me to that day that you met your wife. Take me to that day.
It was Quick Park. It was Quick Park bus.
Okay.
She worked upstairs. She worked in Monarch, and you either could drive the employee bus or drive the Quick Park bus. So me and two of my friends, we were sitting there. She got on the bus, had on a long black coat and a pink scarf. Okay. No hat. All right.
No
it's
hat.
cold outside now. All right. But so I looked at my friends. I was like, they're one of them, So she sat down in front of me. So I started talking to her. All right.
What'd you say, Paul?
You know how you doing?
Okay.
All right.
Did you hit it with the I'm 6'7"?
Right. Well, I think she knew that when I stood up.
All right.
But the odd part about it though, for 2-3 years, I would talk to her, never knew her name. I would never ask her name. She could say she had a headache, I would go get aspirin for her. She could say she was hungry, I'd go get something to eat, bring it back, sit it there, and go on back to work. I used to eat my lunch, across from her, wave, throw my hand up. That was it. Finally, one day I started, and you're going to love this. I used to take prayer books to work.
Okay.
I used to read about the Lord. I used to read, So one day I walked in, and she said, "You read those?" Because, everybody at Northwest Airlines had this reputation, this womanizing reputation.
Okay.
This airport.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
People getting frequent flyer miles. Okay. All right.
So she said, "You read those?" I said, on a daily basis. So I think that's what broke through, okay? And then we started dating, and next thing you know, we got married. We got married in Vegas, and then next thing you know,
Brought him back with us.
All right, that's what I sound like. What happens in Vegas, came back to Michigan.
Came back to Michigan.
Yeah.
Came back to Michigan.
That's awesome. If I may, Miss Raynette, so
Yes.
you notice, he was being nice and kind and polite and doing all of these things, but it sounds like you weren't impressed until you saw that he knew the Lord.
Like he says, everything happens for a reason. I was impressed because not a lot of men would sit up and read a book, especially about the Lord, in front of other people. So when I seen that, I'm like, oh, man, it must be something else going on. He was always nice, always a gentleman. If I didn't feel good, he'll walk by, "Hey, how you doing today?" I'm not feeling too good. Next thing I know, he showed up with some chicken noodle soup. Awesome.
With a soda on the side?
With a soda on the side.
Yeah, chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. Okay.
So I was impressed, yeah. Yeah, we actually had something to talk about. Well, do you remember this story? Do you remember this story? And I read that book, Joel Osteen. He know I love Joyce Myers now. And it was a connection. It was a connection.
It sounds like he was very attentive to your needs.
He was.
And
even
like
as
he
friends.
still is very attentive to your needs.
He is.
Even to the point that she said she had the first date we ever had, and I want everybody in Facebook land, the first date we ever had, she said she had a headache. I took her to my house and took her blood pressure. Her blood pressure was like 200 over 120. Our first date was I took her through emergency at St. John Providence Hospital.
Southfield.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
oh my goodness. So you were just too fit to be tied. Your blood pressure went up on the first day. Like, oh my God, I can't. Paul's taking me out. This brother is 6'7", 240. He done sent my blood pressure through the roof. And he gonna hit you with the, "Baby, let me take your blood pressure."
Let me take you. Mm-hmm.
And that's when I ended up taking her through emergency at St.
Yeah.
John Providence Hospital. That's when she found out that she had high blood pressure.
Yeah. It was because of him. No telling, I could have stroked out right then by it being so high.
Mhm.
But see, that,
Everything happens for a
everything
reason.
happens for a reason.
God orchestrates it. and
Yeah.
All the time.
Even though the enemy can intend one thing, it works out for our
all
good.
the time.
Yep.
All
Who
the time.
knew that a headache could give you a husband?
Give me a
Lord
husband.
Jesus.
Wow.
Look at God. That's my new chapter
That-
in your new book,
right,
From
in the
Headache
new-
to Husband.
From headache to
Paul
husband.
has gone from headache to
headache
husband.
to husband.
All right?
Right.
And but it says that, so anybody that's watching, it does say things when it says, how can two walk together lest they be agreed?
Mm-hmm.
And where you all found commonality and agreement was in the word of God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then from that point, you were attentive to her needs. You made sure you checked in on her. There was no type of pressure being applied either kind of way. But the relationship was able to grow organically. And then even on the first date, you were able to put whatever plans you had to the side for her benefit to ensure that
For
she
her
was okay.
benefit.
You didn't drop her off at the hospital.
No, I stayed.
You
at the
stayed
He
with
I
her.
stayed.
stayed with her
Oh,
at the
yeah.
hospital.
And that's
then,
awesome.
And then followed her home.
Oh, that's good
so,
stuff.
yeah.
Well,
Legendary.
Listen, that is legendary. So,
Legendary.
Yeah,
Right.
that is legendary. And so 11 years later, and a handsome son who's doing well, God has really blessed you all. So you were saying, Paul, that you went from being a correction officer to working at Northwest Airlines.
Money, for the money. I'm not gonna make a long story short. I knew a person, and she said you can come in 5 years, you could be making $20.20 an hour, and then a new contract coming, and you're gonna be making $25, $26, $27 an hour, and still, it was just. I did my job good. Went to work every day. Worked hard. Loved the people there. Miss them. I still talk to them. But it wasn't what I was put here to do.
Okay.
So then I started searching. First, I started praying. I submitted. I humbled myself. I asked God, guide me. Let me know. Help me to get to where you want me to be.
Okay.
And I started reading T.D. Jakes, and I think the book was, I can't really remember the book, but I started, Emotions.
Excellent book.
Excellent book.
Excellent book.
And it said, write down everything you ever wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Write it down. And the thing that pops out to you is it's your calling. And listen to that inner voice. Because it's gonna tell you what it is. And what popped out was I always loved to help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I always loved to teach. At Northwest Airlines, my nickname was Preacher Paul, because people would come to me, talk to me, for advice. I've been speaking since I was 6 years old. My grandmother was a Jehovah's Witness.
All right.
And so she used to take me to the Kingdom Hall all the time. And so I would give sermons started at 6 years old. So I always talked on the stage, okay?
Okay.
So that's where the speaking comes from. When I said I was going to be a speaker, my wife said, well, you just going to jump up and be a speaker? Until I went to Toastmasters. We talked about that briefly.
Right.
And she came and seen my speech, and then right then and there she knew, oh, this man been doing this for a long time, right? So then what I had to start doing is, and I tell everybody that's watching, once you find what your purpose is, there's a transition period. Okay?
Explain that.
Explain that. A lot of people say, I don't want to work this job no more. I'm going to go be a speaker.
Okay.
But you can't just quit your job. Okay?
Talk about it.
You have to start the transition period of working your way to where that job that you're working is costing you money. And what I mean by that is, if you would quit, you would make more money than you're making if you would quit that job. You can't just jump up and quit, okay? Mm-hmm. There's a transition, there's a transition period. The other thing you need to do is what I stopped doing. You got to stop listening to other people.
Okay.
Because the people that's closest to you, they're the ones that's going to say, so many people told me this, why you want to at 46 years old, why you want to leave the airline and go back to school? Why you want to pursue this at that age? If you listen to that type of negativity, you might as well don't even try.
Okay.
The people, some of your closest people, whether it's friends, family, boyfriend, girlfriend, spouses, co-workers, they will try to get you not to do what your purpose is for you. And I think that's coming from Satan.
So let's talk about it, because I want to let's examine that for just a second. So there can be people who earnestly love you. Earnestly love you and want the best for you, and they're evaluating the risk of that decision.
Yes.
And they can earnestly care, but they can also be earnestly wrong.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that they are against you, but their faith is not necessarily where yours is. And even though people, and we know the enemy will use the voices closest to you to persuade you against, doing what you feel is in your heart or pursuing your purpose.
Absolutely.
And you have to be discerning enough to know what is the voice of God coming through my loved ones, and what is a distraction. A lot of times I've seen people isolate themselves, and I've seen all type of means, isolation before promotion and all of these other things where people say you got to isolate yourself. Oh, no, hold on, wait a minute. Now, I don't believe you have to isolate yourself. I just believe you have to surround yourself with the right people.
With the right people.
Yeah.
That's the key. You have to surround yourself with the positive people, and you have to get rid of the toxicity, the toxic individuals, the toxic words, and then you will start to grow.
Paul, how do I identify a toxic relationship? How do I identify a toxic relationship?
A person that will criticize you because of their inferior dynamics. They do not want you, every step you take up shows their lack of effort, lack of trying. So what they're never ever truly want you to succeed. Token support.
So people who are intimidated by your success.
Token support.
Okay.
You can get an honor, and you'll get things like congratulations, or that's cool, or just token. I call it silent envy.
Okay.
This is what I call it, silent envy. They really don't want you to succeed. Now, some people want to say, well, I'm going to convince them. I'm going to show them that, I'm going to show them that I can still, I'm going to make them support me. Okay? I'm going to make them support me. You can't do that. Okay? This is where you have to develop your strength, pray, so that you can just keep fighting through. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. So you can keep fighting through
or pushing through.
Yeah. Because the toxicity of those individuals and those people, if you let it stay, it's going to sabotage everything that you do.
Yeah, Van Moody, he has a book called The People Factor. And he talks about in that book that there is no neutral relationship, meaning the person is either pushing you to be successful or they're detracting from where you're headed. And so you have to examine where that person needs to be in your life. Right. And as a leader of all of the things that you're doing with the Push Through radio show, with the AAU, ministering to young men 3rd through 6th grade, with you speaking all over the nation and getting ready to go speak internationally, and you're helping people develop their mindsets. Like, unfortunate thing about relationships is there's no baggage claim before entrance.
Right.
And so people bring all of that baggage into, there's a reason why they ask you to check your bags first, right? because there are certain entrances that you go through that you can only carry so much stuff.
Right.
But life is not like that sometimes. But we have to have that discerning spirit to know, okay, I see I'm going to leave you right here.
Right.
You know, and that doesn't mean I have to treat you any differently. I can still show love to you, but I'm just, unfortunately, you can't gain access to the whole me because the whole me is headed up, and you're comfortable with sticking down. It's like chicken telling an eagle what to do.
And that's what bothers me so much nowadays is that it's the lack of support.
All right.
All right, it's the lack of support. I don't care if it's a child. You know, like with my basketball games. You know, we have parents that come. Then it's times we don't see no parents. All right. I can't understand. Now I'm going back.
Okay.
If that child is about to be convicted of a crime, the courtroom is full
Packed out.
of family.
Yeah.
If that child is in a play at school, no one's there.
Priorities.
Priorities. If that person wants to go to college, where's the support? Positive things are not supported enough in our community. Negative things. If a person do a positive hip hop record,
Okay.
it's not supported. You do a negative one, it go to the top of the charts. That's all that's toxic. You know, all of that. That's the mindset that has to be changed to where, if you're a positive, smart individual, you're a sellout. You know, if you're not hood, you a sellout. No, that's the mindset that has to be changed with children.
Okay.
That's the mindset that have to be changed with parents. That's the mindset that have to be changed with adults. You know, if you more people attain their purpose when they're over 50 than any age.
Wow, break that down for me. Why do you think that is?
Because that's when you finally stop listening and caring about what other people think.
So you're grown enough to be grown enough.
You're grown enough to be grown
All right.
enough.
Sounds good.
You know, a lot of times, the people that has dictated their demands on you or had the most effect on you, parents and grandparents, well, they start to leave.
Okay.
So you're not really answering to nobody no more. You tend not to answer to the people that's up underneath you. Now, I'm the only son, and I had sisters and female-dominated family, you know, for years. You know,
I think that's most of us. That's
right.
a lot of
I
us.
paid attention. You know what they said had an effect on me, where I wouldn't really do exactly what I wanted to do because of worrying about what my grandmother, my mother, my sister, what they was gonna say or how they was gonna treat me.
Okay.
Okay, but it took when I got into my 40s and 50s, I didn't care what nobody thought. That's why I was able to leave my job at the airline and go back to school.
Okay. Now,
if I'd have been 10 years earlier, I'd have got talked out of doing that. What you doing? When you start to not care about what other people think, and when it comes to your life, when you take on the mindset that this is my life and this is what I'm gonna do what makes me happy, then things start to turn around for you.
Absolutely. Paul, I remember a time where I was getting ready to get some business things together, and I had supported so many other people and was encouraging so many other people, and I went on MailChimp and I sent out this big email. And what some people who may not know, MailChimp lets you know who subscribes, who unsubscribes, you know.
Right.
And I looked at my unsubscription list and I saw some names on there of people that I had grossly supported. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. And then I said, but then I kind of chuckled. I was like, well, okay. I mean, that's their prerogative.
Right.
It doesn't change what I do. because I'm sure you, and I watch you through Positive Black Network, the information and things, I'm accountable for what I put out.
Right.
And I'm accountable for my actions. Now, did it tailor some of my energy in that direction? It surely did, because I understood that the law of reciprocity.
Right.
You know, hey, there has to be some giving and some giving.
Some
yeah,
giving.
not just giving and taking,
some
but there has
giving
to
and
be
some giving.
some deposits
Right.
in each
Absolutely.
direction. And so when you think about someone finding their purpose, and we've identified two strong things, which means A, surround yourself with people who can lift you up and encourage your vision. Two, we found out that we must delete any type of toxic relationships, because that toxicity will infect what you believe and will cause you pursuing what someone else feels that you're capable of.
Absolutely.
Or when somebody begins to project their limitations or their small thinking onto you. And then you got to get to a point where you just, hey, I don't care what anyone else says. You can really put it like this: you become resolute about doing what it is that you have in your heart.
Right.
So if I picked up finding your purpose, let's go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and let's do some role play here.
Okay.
All right. So I come into your office. All right, and I say, hey, Paul, listen, man, got some things in my heart. I think I know I'm good at a couple of things. Hey, man, got to provide for my family. And but what I'm doing right now, it just doesn't feel like it's my purpose. Like, how do I find my purpose, Paul?
Okay. Well, first thing I would say is,
Oh, we're gonna role play it. No, just talk to me.
Oh,
Role
okay,
play.
okay, we
All right,
okay.
yeah. So
tell me 5 things you're good at.
I'm good at connecting with people. I'm good at building relationships. I'm good at empathy, empathizing with others. I'm a great communicator, and I have great discernment.
Okay. Tell me, when you were a young man, young male, a young boy, tell me the 5 things you always said you wanted to be when you grew up.
I wanted to be a civil and architectural engineer. I wanted to be a preacher, a pastor. I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a father, and I wanted to be a husband.
Okay. If you can pick one out of those 5, which one would you pick right now?
Oh, wow. If I had to pick one,
One.
I'm already 2 of them. All right. If I had to pick one.
The one that you can take care of yourself with.
One I can take care of myself.
Take care of your family with.
I don't think it would be the whole pastor role, but I think that I would travel the world speaking the word of God.
Travel the world. Okay. So I'm going to ask you this. What do you think you have to do? If I told you to write down 5 things to get you there, tell me 5 things it would take for you to get to that point, to where you can travel the world and speak the word of God to people.
Number 1 is prayer.
That's number. Okay.
Number 1 is prayer. Number 2 would be to stay submitted to my current covering where I serve, because I just believe that type of promotion would require extensive covering. You can't just decide one day I'm gonna wake up and go preach the word. You have to be, you have to be covered. So I would pray, will seek wise counsel, from my covering. Number 3, I would ask God about timing. I have young kids and a wife. And so, Lord, when is the timing for this? Because, traveling and speaking the way that I desire to will have me on the road a lot. So I would talk about timing, and then resources. I would have to, and all of this would stem from prayer. But also soliciting those who believe in the message and the messenger who's carrying that word. So developing the resources and networks and relationships. And then just my 5th step would be taking that bold step of faith. And jumping out there.
See, now all of those is good, okay?
All right.
But you have to have some organization with that. This is what I would suggest to you.
Okay.
I would suggest that you go, like, say, to a Toastmaster, to where you can get in front of people and learn how to speak in front of people, where you can get critiqued.
Okay.
Okay. Then From there, you volunteer to speak the word. And what I mean by that is they have men conferences, they have empowerment conferences, they have many conferences that on Saturday morning, breakfast, and then where you can get up and you can testify. Okay, so you start to go to different meetings and start testifying. All right, so people can see that authentic self, that see that what you're bringing. All right, where you can start to affect people. All right, so then when you go to those meetings and then naturally you're gonna meet people that you admire. You're gonna see their style, right? You go up, you start talking to them. You look for a mentor. Okay, then you start going more and more different places, and then get take on different functions within your church. All right, that takes you to the stage, even if it's a good introduction. All right, you start to train yourself to speak. Okay, now that along with prayer, then eventually one day you're going to be speaking the word to people all over the United States. But you put those different plans in place.
We're talking about the world, Paul. We're talking about the world. Speaking across the world.
Right, across the world. Right.
Yes, sir.
So, right, but you put those plans. See, a lot of people want to do things,
right,
but they never put those steps in place to get there. And this is how I help people. Even when it comes to when I'm dealing with the young kids that want to play in the NBA.
Okay.
It's steps that you take. You don't just show up and go into the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
People that want to change their job, it's steps that, okay, what do you want to do? If you don't want to do this, what do you want to do? Once they identify what they want to do, then I can help them with the steps to get to that point. So many people, they just want things to fall into their lap. It's not going to just drop into your lap, right? You have to prepare yourself. If mine was a 10-year journey, what people seeing me do now, and my wife can testify, I did things for free. I would just go out there and do it.
Absolutely.
Okay, it wasn't no getting no money or nothing. You know what I'm talking about, and it was all a process, but you have to put the steps in place, then you have to follow through.
Absolutely. And a lot of the things that you're saying, as far as, the session we just had here.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of those operatives are happening in my life already. So
Yeah.
I've been serving at church,
Right.
All of these different things. And so everything that you identified, I have as an operative,
Right.
going on like currently right now. So I
Yes.
pursued Toastmasters.
Right.
We talked and all of those things, and I went. And you have to be in a position where you can have the gift.
Right.
But you need to develop the technical skills. So you can have the gift, or, if we're talking
Absolutely.
at church, you can have the gift, the anointing. You can have the talent, but you have to hone your craft, hone your skill.
Absolutely.
And if that's what you're talking about doing with your life, you should be willing to dedicate some preparation.
Right.
Because it's the planning, it's the preparation, and then it's the power that shows up.
And people don't prepare no more. All right. People don't, it's just gonna touch base because it's one of the things that I'm doing now in conjunction with a teacher.
Okay.
And that's the reading initiative. Okay.
Okay. Talk to me about it.
And what we're trying to get across to parents starting in preschool. I know before that, starting when they're in your stomach. Okay. And when they come out, start reading to your kids. Because you're gonna get there. You don't want your child to get to third grade, and if they can't read at that third grade level, they're not gonna pass the fourth grade.
They'll be retained.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now that's been identified. Okay. What you got to do, you got to start reading to your children, reading with your children. You have to read them from a young age. From a young age, you have to put in the preparation, got to put in the time. That's life. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever you can be whatever you want to be in this world. You can do whatever you want to do in this world if you're willing to put in the preparation, the dedication, and the effort.
You're a coach. I remember my coach would say, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah, he would add some extra words in there.
Extra, absolutely.
A couple extra
Absolutely.
words in there,
Right.
but we won't add those words for the sake of the audience in the show. One of the things that you talk about, we were talking, and you were telling me that next year, 2019, you are headed to South Africa to speak.
Yes, it's gonna be an epic event. It's Men of Valor. It's a movement that was started, and I joined in, and it's getting men to step up to the plate. You see a lot of women empowerment. Women are stepping up to the plate. You know, they're out there, they're doing their thing.
Let's
right?
say they are killing the game.
They're killing the game.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we have to do the same thing. You know, we have to step our game up. All right. So it's called Men of Valor. It's going to be a nationwide tour. It's going to end up in South Africa. You know, we're going to be in Detroit in July, Richmond, Virginia, many different places. Right now it's seven cities, and what we're trying to do is getting men to change that mindset of definitely don't be jealous of women's success. Okay.
Okay.
Look at it and let it how can I put it? You should want to do the same thing. Okay? Instead of letting it make you go away from them,
Okay.
embrace it. Like they say, where are the young men on college campuses? Where are the young men in high school? Where are the young men when it comes to working? We're trying to get, with Men of Valor, we're trying to go from city to city to get men to wake up and step up to the plate. Not try to live a life of ease. We live in very difficult times, prophesied in the Bible. We know the political landscape. For the African American race, as with anything else, we need men and women working together.
Absolutely.
We don't just need, but for men and women to work together, they want to see that you're working hard. They want to see you working hard, that you're bringing it. Right. So this is what we're striving to do, and then we're taking it to an international level, right? Because a lot of the things that's going on here in the United States is also going on in other countries, and in South Africa, a friend of mine, he's a part of the Men of Valor. He said the same thing's going on down here. Can you bring that here? And we said yes. So we plan on going down there for 4 days. We're going to have workshops. You know, we're going to talk to people in the city and the village.
Okay.
And then they're going to be coming here too. Okay.
All right, so Paul, I want you to look right at that camera and talk to all of the youth male mentoring groups, all of the youth ministries that have young men in them, all of the men that may be watching, or the ladies that have men in their family. Tell us why we need to go to the conference, and then tell us where we could go to get more information about the conference. It's on you, Paul.
Okay, well, the reason why you should come to the conference is everybody needs help. Everybody needs somebody to get a word where you can hear a word that's going to spark a flame. You know, by coming to that conference and coming to the workshops, you will be able to find out exactly what kind of mindset you need to survive in this world, to survive in this political landscape, to break the school to penitentiary syndrome that we have. You know, we will be able to show you how to rise up. And that's the key. You know, we have to go back to the way we used to be, where we did everything we could to rise up as a people. Rise up as a people. And to find out more about it, you can go online. You go to my page. You know, Paul Garwood is flyers out. You're gonna see different posters. It's gonna be all over the internet. So you would definitely be able to know the exact time and date that we're having it. But it's gonna be in July. The first week of July is going to be downtown Detroit, and the place has not totally been confirmed yet. We're just waiting to hear back from them, but it's definitely going to be a epic event here in Detroit.
All right, so you're telling me we have men across the nation about 8 months from now that the men of valor are going to set the city of Detroit on fire.
We're gonna
so
try.
they can ignite the innate potential, the inherent power that is in each and every man and young man
Yes.
that will come to the conference. You're asking young men and adult men to take their rightful place,
Take their
and
rightful
to
place,
lead, to
and
work
to lead.
cooperatively with the ladies who
Absolutely.
are out there leading and
Yes.
excelling and being doing their thing in corporate world as well as the nonprofit world.
Yes.
I think it sounds like you're saying that it's going to take some teamwork in
Teamwork.
order to restore our neighborhoods and our families and our communities.
Everybody has to work together. They're just like with the nonprofit that I have, Destination Achievers. The one thing I tell them to my friends in D.C. and in Maryland, that I'm good friends with a lot of the grassroots individuals here in Detroit, and it's all about collaboration.
All right.
Whether it's Otis Bellinger, whether it's Mr. Ebron, and I know several other ones. Emily, Emily, we work together at Northwest Airlines. All right? So it's people out here putting in work. All right, and for us to be able to do it, it's not about one organization outshining another one. It's about everybody coming together to help the people in this area, because we need it.
Yeah,
We need it more now than ever before.
I agree. So, Paul, while we're in this vein, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, where could they find you?
They just put my name in. Just put in Paul Garwood. Just put it in Google. Google Paul Garwood, and you will be able to find me. You will see my picture. I have my website, Positive Black Network. I have my website, Paul Garwood Speaks. I have Push Through with Paul Garwood, the radio show. You will be able to find me, or come up to Harper Woods on Sunday afternoons and watch me coach, and then pull me to the side. Hey, Mr. Garwood, can I talk to you? I'm in the Harper Woods community. You will be able to. I'm easy to find.
Did you hear Paul? Paul said, "I'm Googleable." Make sure you, I said, "Where can I find you?" Throw my name in Google, bro.
Right,
Don't you know?
throw it in Google.
You can find me. I'm Googleable. All right, that's not a word, y'all, but I'll put it out there. So make sure you check in with Paul. It's all these amazing things. Now, this book, Finding Your Purpose. Where can I get that book at?
You can get on Amazon. It's been out for a couple of years now. It's the new wave of books where it's a small ebook where you can go in. You can read my book in less than 2 hours, and then change your life the rest of your life. Okay,
Change your life the rest of your life.
This is a small ebook. About 60 pages. All right, but I try to hit hard with it. Straight to the point. One other thing I want to talk about before we stop this is my website.
Okay.
Positive Black Network.
PBN.
And when it comes to the news, all you hear is negativity. All you hear, it's a couple of groups on Facebook that talks about the crime.
Okay.
In the Metro Detroit area. And I used to sit back and I used to answer to it. I used to do my, praying for you, to the different families. But I said that I wanted to start something because it's a lot of brothers and sisters, old and young, that's out here doing a lot of positive things.
Absolutely.
And I said I didn't care if I had to start it by myself, which I did. All I post is the positive things that African Americans do in the world. And I think that it has had an effect on my son. I think that positive things, and there's other websites, like mine, or my website is like theirs, to where it doesn't get talked about a lot because it's positive. But go on and look at it. there's no charge or nothing like that. I just wanted it to be seen that African Americans are doing positive things out here, doing great things. And I even go back in history with it, because people don't talk about history no more. People don't talk about the great things that African Americans has done in the past. All right. But go on and expose your children to positive things that African Americans do, not just what they see in the videos, not just what they hear on the news, not just what they hear in school. We are out here doing great things, and it's being pushed up, it's being swept up underneath the rug. It's not being highlighted, and it's being done by design, right? Get out here and show your children and show what we're actually doing on a day-to-day basis.
So where is Positive Black Network? If I wanted to look at it, do I throw it in Google?
Put it in Google. Put it in Google. Put it in Google.
All right.
And put it in Google. It's gonna come up, and you go there, and I post stuff 2 to 3 times a week.
But you're on Instagram as well.
I'm on Instagram with it as well, and I have a Facebook page and group.
Okay.
With it. My group is over 600-700 members, and people starting to collaborate and come in and find things theirself and post it. I want that to be a movement. Because we are a great people. Everybody, they want to just show the negative, right? But no, we're not about the negative. Yeah, we have negative things that happen that's always showed in the media of today, but that's not our race.
Agreed.
It's not. We're more than that. They want to, like my grandfather used to say, they used to want to talk about the one crack house, but they never talked about the 20 other houses on the block that kept, they cut their grass and kept up everything.
Absolutely.
Right, get out there. We got to show the positive aspects of our people.
Yeah, because wherever your thoughts go, wherever your thoughts go, your energy goes.
Absolutely.
And wherever your energy goes, that's what grows.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was in a workshop today, and we were talking about, it was a school workshop talking about restorative practices, but we were talking about how, and it's true statistically as it relates to our culture nationwide, city, state, that 85 to 90% of the people that we live with or that we pass on a daily basis are doing exactly what they should be doing.
Yes.
That they are leading lives and they're growing and going and they're trying to provide the best way that they know how for their family. But it's that 10 to 15% that seems to get magnified and draws ratings because of the drama that exists.
Yes.
So Positive Black Network seeks to deconstruct the negative and to construct a positive narrative that tells the truth about who we really are.
Who we really are.
I won't charge you for that. Okay.
Right. All right. Old, young. Like I say, my network is not about signing up for money or nothing. I do this just on my own because I was called to do it. When I first started the group, and I went to my wife and I said, I really think I got something going here. I'm talking about I do a lot of different things, but this one is what you call this is my baby. Because we have to get away from the negative connotations that's thrown at us every day as a race. We have to. I don't care if it's coming from the president all the way down to a next door neighbor. We are not, as a race, as a whole, we are not what we are portrayed to be. And it has to be talked about constantly.
Absolutely. And the more that we push out the positive, the more that we lift up the banner, the more that we do things that reflect the greatness about us, people will see. I mean, we are royalty.
Yes.
We've been called. We have a
Yes,
purpose.
yes.
You know, I might as well just quote the scripture. We are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy
Yes.
nation,
Yes,
called to
we
show
are.
forth
Yes,
the
we
praises
are.
of Him in the earth.
Yeah.
That we have a huge heritage of spirituality because some of the books that we first begin to read was the biblical or the canonical facts, the truth, the Bible. You know,
Bible,
and so when
absolutely.
we talk about that. We have to do so in a strength-based way. Do you know how many people who are believers but don't understand the covenant and the right that they have?
Yes.
Did you know that you are the apple of His eye? Did you
Yes.
know that He called you to be the first and not the last, above
Yes.
and not beneath, the lender, not the borrower? That He said that He chose you and that you are His elect. Like, these are the things that we don't hear a lot of,
Right.
but it's up to us to carry these messages.
Yes.
And a lot of times when we talk about the purposes of God, the Bible says that the purpose of God standeth sure. It says many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's God's intent, His very intent, that will stand forever.
Yes.
Because the one thing about our purpose, Paul, and I would love to put in contention what you think about this, and then we're going to wrap, is that your purpose is far greater than you.
Far greater than you.
And that it causes us to have to collaborate in order to fulfill our God-given destiny and purpose.
You have to.
So you cannot develop or be living out your purpose in a vacuum, because if God is going to minister to someone else on this earth, He's going to have to do it through you.
And your purpose is a far greater legacy to leave your child than any amount of money.
Agreed. Everybody's seeking after that dollar, that almighty dollar.
Almighty dollar.
You know, the money, 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 money.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. Money is a tool.
Right.
And I have never seen anybody who was great mechanically just go after searching for tools. You know, they might look for tools to do a job, but nobody seeks and goes through their life to just accumulate tools. And so you got that's like a man collecting a whole garage full of tools, but never doing any work. All right. So, yeah, this is Andre Ebron. I am here with Paul Garwood.
Yes.
Yes. Let me read that again. He's from Life Coach Radio. What about Strive to Succeed Every Day? I saw that too. Positive Black Network. The author of Finding Your Purpose. He's on the radio show Push Through. And I saw a couple messages you had. I thought I made it. I saw the other one where Paul Garwood speak. I saw the new you. I saw about how to deal and respond to rejection. The importance of a vision statement. These are all, guess what I did?
Yeah.
I Googled
you.
All right.
Yes.
And then, do you know what matters in your life? Again, this is Andre Ebron, the host of The Drawing Board, where it's a powerful, thought-provoking discussion that challenges the listener to examine their life and reimagine the possibilities. And I hope, as we leave this place from now, that you have done the work to try to discover your purpose. And I'll simply say it like this. Your purpose, it is hiding in the presence of God. And the only way you get there is by reading His Word. If you'd like a consultation with Paul Garwood, you can Google him, and he will come up, and he'd be more than happy to help you discover your God-given purpose. God bless you.
Take care. God bless you.
All right, mics are off. Give me 1 second to end the video.
All right, Facebook, please like, share, comment. Make sure you let me know what you thought about it. Get in touch with Paul. You don't have to Google him. He's right on Facebook.
Right.
You know, and we're already
Right on
there.
Facebook, yeah.
Right on Facebook, Paul Garwood. And big blessings to he and his family. Thank you all for coming out tonight.
Much.
And it's been a blessing. Please continue to comment. Let me know what you're getting out of this. This is the 7th show. I told you we were going to do 12 shows. So you let me know if this is feeding you, that you're getting something out of it, and that'll determine whether we continue or where we go from here. All right, God bless you. Good night. Peace.
Take care. Good night. God bless.